Hey guys, it's me, the guy that keeps the world safe from the basement invader known as Pio. Once again, this intro is to waste a bit of YouTube's time because of their guidelines on language and such. Unfortunately, once again we had to censor some stuff, but this time I think it adds to the funny of the video. But we censored only the most egregious moments that we could not upload on YouTube as they were. Now, just to remind you, the video you are going to watch right now is a montage of the best and funniest moments of the Lord Destroyer series. All the episodes of the series are available in full length on our Patreon, and by the time you are watching this video, we are on episode 51. This video in particular will cover moments going from episode 13 to 16, and keep in mind that every episode goes from 1.5 to 3 hours long, and you are watching just some parts of it. If you want to see the full uncensored and unedited episodes, you just need to join our Patreon at least on the PO server level, and you get access to all of them, and be able to join them live every time we record them. You can even find us on Twitch, and we are not only streaming 3 days a week, but we are also frequently playing with viewers. So if you want to come by and say hi, you can find us on Twitch under the username The Pontificate. The link is in the description. See you there!
But before we get into it, as you may know, I've finally launched the Majorkill Nudie cosplay calendar. 12 stunning.
And there it is! We are 1 minute and 26 seconds into this video, guys. We are already talking about porn. Thank you, Majorkill.
Wait, what the fuck is that thing?
He pretty much like just hires he just hires models to pose naked for his cosplays. And
No, I know, but the censorship is really small. Is that a corpse flying?
Calendar will only be available for 3 more weeks and then it's gone forever. Comes in A4,
should have been gone before it was born.
Digital one. So yeah, these calendar sales are going towards Weshammer's charity of choice if I get stomped, or they'll, you know, just go to me, which, let's be honest, way better than a charity. Oh, let's get into it.
What?
I don't get if that was sarcasm or not. Seeing the brain of Majorkill, I choose to believe it wasn't.
For charity.
This is literally the argument Majorkill has used is for charity. Let's continue.
Super excited to see how this goes. I'll tell you what, I've done no studying. This is the earliest that I have woken up in 6 months. I got my Red Bull, I'm good to go. I want to see what I actually know.
Yeah, it's a lot harder when you don't have the wiki in front of you.
My fucking god.
He admitted it! He admitted it!
The easy section first. Number 1. Which High Fleet attacked the Blood Angels on the world of Baal?
Leviathan. It was literally a splinter fleet of High Fleet Leviathan.
It was the main. It was even the one sponsored when the 9th edition came out.
Yeah, and even then, like, this is very easy because Leviathan is literally the biggest High Fleet that there is. So 90% of the time, if an High Fleet is attacking, it is the Leviathan.
And which enemy came to save them?
Oh god.
Chaos and demons.
What? Oh god! What?
What the fuck do you mean? Oh god! It is literally explained in 3 different books.
It's a toss-up for me between Kraken and Leviathan, but I'm gonna go with Leviathan, and I believe the Necrons came to save them.
No, the Necrons were on one of the worlds of the Shield of Baal, which is the system before the Red Scar, which is like the last gate of defense before entering the home world of the Blood Angels and such, reaching Baal Primus and Baal Secundus. Baal Secundus being like the planet where Sanguinius landed. But even there, like, the Necrons woke up on the planet because of the war. Technically, they didn't arrive; they were always there.
Leviathan.
Oh, 2 for 2.
Yes!
Well
Come
done.
on!
You got it. But number 2. Which regiment has a cult of sacrifice?
That Corso Krieg.
And what is their most popular?
That was so easy.
Yes.
Even I could have guessed it.
Wait a second.
Cult of sacrifice. And what is their most popularly memed weapon of choice?
The shovel.
Shovel.
Are these seriously fucking questions?
If they don't get, I got this one. If they don't get this one, I'm gonna be upset. Genuinely upset.
I'm laughing right now because I would have said the Lucius pattern last gun. I'm fucking stupid.
Pio would have failed, and that's why you live in a basement, Pio.
I thank God for the part 2 of that question, because I was like, oh God, cult of sacrifice.
Are you for real?
Oh God.
Are you for like I cannot decide if he's acting dumb just to appear dumb or if he's just like doesn't know like concretely, because I will be angry if my lore YouTuber of choice doesn't know that probably the most famous fucking regiment of 40k that has a cult of sacrifice are the fucking Kriegers.
Yeah, every single question in the easy rank, they are like, oh God.
Oh God,
oh my
I cannot
God, what
imagine
the,
the medium questions.
Oh fuck. So the orders.
You are still looking in the same place, Majorkill. I see you there.
Yeah, the big ones.
Alright, okay, we got our martyred lady, the bloody rose. Well, I got the white-haired chicks, I got the red chicks. I think the ebon is the white chicks.
No.
My God.
No, Ebon Chalice. Armor, white under, black armor. It's white and black, it is not white armor.
But can you describe the fucking sororitas orders with the red chicks, white chicks,
the
ebon
red
chicks?
God. The white ones are the Order of the Sacred Rose. I'm curious.
But there's black chicks.
Who are the Legio Categis? And what is the highest rank in their formation?
The who?
Teach us.
Fuck, I don't know. I don't. I have no fucking idea. Straight up.
Let's see.
This one I don't know.
Sure, that takes brave.
Legio Categis, do you want to know what it is?
Sure.
It's the Thunder Warriors.
Indulge me in that.
The Thunder Warriors. The Thunder Warriors were also known as the Legio Categis, and the highest rank that you could achieve, I don't know if it is old or new lore, technically was Primarch.
Nice.
So yeah, they just got asked, what was the highest rank in the Thunder Warriors? And both went, oh, I don't know them by that name.
It's definitely there, and I've added it to the list. I thought they were gone. Well done. Question 3. Which legion battled the men of iron at the end of the Unification Wars in the Tempest Galleries?
Oh my God, it should be the Salamanders, if I remember correctly. It should be the Salamanders.
And how did they end up defeating them?
If I remember correctly, destroying like the AI core that was inside the fortress, because like they couldn't assault the fortress directly, so they went from it underground, started getting slaughtered in the thousands. It is why they joined pretty late the Great Crusade, and only defeated it when like they pretty much turned off the artificial intelligence of the Men of Iron they were fighting. But let's see. I could be wrong. I don't remember this one, to be honest, too clearly.
I have not read a book where they fought against the Men of
Stop.
Iron. Be the Castigator
I've
Titan.
not read a single book.
No, the Castigator Titan is not even fucking related to... It's not fucking related to Unification
Castigator
Wars.
Titan was destroyed by the Grey Knights, God knows how.
Yeah, it was destroyed by the Grey Knights, various Titan legions, and even then the question, Weshammer, was during the Unification Wars.
It was I would say the Dark Angels, because they were the first legion. They were active during the Unification Wars, and they were the only legion that was allowed to use enslaved men of iron as weapons.
I'm gonna take a shot in the dark with Dark Angels.
It should be the Salamanders, let's see.
Afraid that's incorrect.
Fuck.
Which legion battled the men of iron at the end of the Unification Wars in the Tempest Galleries was the Salamanders.
Yes!
And they had to end up, basically, their bolters bounced off them, so they had to monkey pile them and pull them apart.
Technically, that's wrong. Technically, from what I remember when I read the part of the lore, they pretty much had to destroy like a... the answer shouldn't be, like, physically how they defeated them. Should be metaphorically how they defeated... Oh yeah, because they lost their bolters, they just started tearing them to pieces. Okay, and they won like that, or there was something else, like a central control node for the artificial intelligence that they destroyed and pretty much turned off the Men of Iron, or it's literally just how physically they defeated them? And I want to add something. I will just put it here because, like, I opened right now the wiki of the Assault on the Tempest Galleries to see. I was right on the Salamanders and I was right on what happened. There it is. The greatest of all automatons of the Tempest Galleries, it dwarfs even an Imperial Titan. Faced with what was now certain death, the day was saved when the Distraction Assault Group managed to gain control of one of the enemy's tunneling spheres and crash it into the gigantic monstrosity, sacrificing their lives to destroy it. The ensuing explosion destroyed the central power node, and also the governing machine spirit controlling the automated sentries. So not only I was right about the salamanders and what happened, but Voldemort was wrong on how they fucking won.
I'm not a sore loser.
turtles.
You're a sore loser. God. In seriousness, Wes is a cool guy and someone I do call a mate. He's easily accessible content.
Someone who I call a mate a few years later
Aged like milk.
backstabs him violently with a video about how he's stealing content from his channel. Yeah, Majorkill, I can see what you do to your mates. I will be scared of being your friend.
So before we start, we should be aware that a lot of the arguments against female Space Marines are nothing but angry little boys being sexist online.
Okay, this guy, I was neutral on this guy. Now I actively despise him. It has been 1 minute into a 15 minutes video.
So, having female Space Marines in the world would require changing the background. But so what? Warhammer fluff changes all the time. Even
Stop!
This fucking...
So what?
This fucking disingenuous argument that stuff changes all the time. Yes, and it is a problem, because Games Workshop doesn't have the narrative power to justify the fucking changes. Every time they change something, they have in the last 5 years fucked up so violently, they need years to fix their own fucking lore.
Then every time we watch one of these videos, we should get a list of all the arguments that we already seen.
Yeah, can somebody make a bingo card so we can play it every time we watch one of
God.
these videos?
That would be fantastic. 3 bingo.
Yeah, because
But
it's always
what
the
does-
same. At least we do something.
Okay, next reason. But we've already got Sisters of Battle, so why do you need female Space Marines? Okay, it depends how people are making this argument, because this could mean a couple of different things. If we're talking about not needing another bolter-armed, power-armoured army in the game, well, yeah, fair enough. But female Space Marines don't add any new armies. They'd just be a modelling and background option.
They take attention from the sororitas, though. If you have females in the
Yeah.
Space Marines, what the fuck is the use of the sororitas, which are already power-armored, bolter-wielding women? This is the definition of sexism. Oh yeah, but the women in power armor that already exist are not good enough. We need them to be Space
Yeah,
Marines.
the male
to be
ones
good
are
enough.
better.
Yeah.
Male ones are better. Put a woman in there, it will be better. No, it doesn't work like that.
Mostly, I think when people say this, they're arguing that the model range already includes one faction with female models, so why do you need another? Viking army, check. Roman army, check. Female army, check. TV tropes would call this the Smurfette principle, and the issue with it is that it assumes being female is the sole trait a character needs.
But it isn't
Because you don't know anything about them.
But
and so you think
it isn't the sole trait of the sorority. This is extremely sexist. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, he literally is dumbing down the lore of the Adeptus Sororitas just to say that the only characteristic they have is that they are female.
yeah, it doesn't make any fucking he doesn't know anything about the Sisters of Battle if he says that.
And this is the one I think might actually have some merit, that Space Marines can be seen as a satirical comment on...
No, they are not. They are not satire. They are literally the 40k version of the Templar orders. They are space warrior monks. It is even written in the beginner's guide that came out a few years before.
Number of things,
This video is more
including-
satire than 40k is. My fucking god.
This video is worsely argumented and written than the fucking retcons they made to the Grey Knights in the last Codex.
His idea of what being a man is, all duty and honor and fighting and no
Yeah,
emotions
you haven't
except
found out
anger
yet,
and
have you?
no
Yeah.
girls. That's just toxic masculinity. Surprising how the
Being an hero,
My
being
God.
dutiful, being disciplined, being good at fighting, being strong, being a symbol of hope for the Imperium. That's literally the description of toxic masculinity. You say that this guy is literally the meme of the soy jack?
Yep.
I'm surprised there isn't a soy jack on him.
Wait. Are you a man or a woman? I'm an Astartes. What gender are you? Bane of the Heretic. Yeah, but what's in your pants? Gene seed.
That actually implies that gene seed is stored in the balls, which I actually approve of.
Gene seed is stored in the balls.
So the reason for Space Marines being male is basically a marketing decision based on what nerds in 1987 wanted to buy. They listened to their customer base at the time, which means that if nerds in 2021 want female Space Marines, surely the good business decision is to change it.
No, it isn't.
I like the.
No, it isn't, because as we have seen with Disney, that now is trying to pretty much conquer back their male audience. That sucks. There is no way in which you can destroy your own lore story and make girl bosses without losing 90% of your fucking customer base.
Old screaming, scarred female heads, would they even look any different? So shorter? Nope. Pin-up proportions? Nope. Long hair and makeup? Probably not. Just a female head swap? I'm not really a good enough sculptor to manage that. So where does that leave us? Well, for now, here's what I think a female Space Marine...
I called it. His literal vision of a female Space Marine is a male Space Marine. Jesus.
So what's the point?
Like.
It's just for the sake of ruining everything?
It's just for the sake of ruining the lore. He wants to intentionally ruin the fucking lore.
There's no other point to do that if not for ruining something. Why?
Like, exactly the same. This is what I'm going to be using as the basis for my 28 mag entry, a standard intercessor. And this is why Games Workshop should make the change. It's the easiest way of giving the fans what they want.
And this is why Games Workshop should make the change.
How can you be so fucking stupid?
Every story in the background is told from the point of view of someone. Maybe there are differing accounts.
Yeah, and again, because we made it. Actually, the narrator is unreliable.
This way of working allows loads more flexibility in a game that isn't really intended to have a linear timeline. It's
Then what the fuck? Every single one.
Then why there are dates?
Yeah, why there are dates? Why there are books? Why there is a narrative?
It all stems from the assumption there's a binding contract between author and reader to adhere to some
Even Luetin used the same fucking quote. They use the same 3 quotes and think they're right.
non-existent subjective construct or true representation of the setting. There is no such contract and no such objective truth. That's Andy Hoare, who's
Andy Hoare, game designer, not a writer. He's a
Oh my god, this guy.
he's a game designer. He's not a writer. He literally makes the stats and the balancing for the games. And he has not worked for Games Workshop from 2010. Why the fuck are we listening to him?
He's written a lot of 40k.
Oh, wait. He has written a lot of 40k. Look at that. Codex, short story.
I can ask you for this. Can you show the bingo card I made? It's in the chat, like just a short scroll.
There it is.
Did I miss something or?
Yeah, they were always there.
Because simply enough, they don't have a leg to stand on. They don't even have legs at this point.
Yeah, but it's really funny that the discussions with these people there are no proofs. Yes, there are. Yeah, but canon isn't real, huh? Now what you do?
Custodes can now be women. And the internet goes wild. I think that this is a welcome change. There's no actual reason why the Custodes have always been men. They just always have been.
There is no actual reason. If you ignore the lore, if you know the lore, you know that there is an actual fucking reason.
But they didn't sell well, and so that's why they pivoted to the current lore of Space Marines, where it's a brotherhood of guys, and they all go adventuring together, I guess. There's not...
What?
They are a brotherhood of guys, and they just go adventuring together, I guess. What did the
magical
fuck?
Magical adventures of Pedro Cantor and his guys.
It would honestly make a lot more sense, not just women Custodes, but it would make a lot more sense if the Custodes rebelled and took over the Imperium of Mankind. They totally could. 10,000 Custodes could rule the Imperium.
Why would they? They could.
I mean,
but why would they?
I mean, the Imperium is the creation of the Emperor. Why would the Custodians just go, yeah, let's ruin it. It would be fun. Why?
Oh, okay, so let's go on. Let's hope you start making some fucking sense.
They could do that.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
And yet,
Your suffering
people
is the
are
best
mad about women Custodes. And it kind of makes me wonder. I do think a lot of the outrage is people enjoying themselves, because few things are as fun as complaining. Oh, and when you get a great opportunity to complain, it's so much fun. You get to...
Oh, yeah.
It's not fun, I'm suffering.
Yeah, I love, like, generally, yeah, I love being angry all the time. I love watching these fucking videos that have no head to toe reason to exist. I love watching people that don't understand anything about Warhammer 40k, fucking writing, world building, or anything about how to build a fucking narrative talk about this kind of stuff. I enjoy being angry that my favorite universe is getting destroyed by a bunch of fucking idiots that get hired by Games Workshop and are protected just because they are writers. The fact they are writers doesn't mean they don't suck at it. Just look at CSGO. Just look at this fucking guy.
See, you're having fun.
He's responding to people saying, since the first of the 10,000 were created, there have always been female custodians. That's a dirty, stinking lie.
Damn! He admits it! He admits it! Somebody fucking did it! He admitted it! That they are lying! Oh my god, he restored some respect that I have for him.
I do think that it could lead to some very interesting storytelling for the Custodes, because Custodes aren't space marines.
Yes.
They're kind of just perfect humans.
They were so good, the short stories. Taurovalia Cash, Agonades, and the one that dies immediately.
Yeah, the third one is so unremembered. We didn't even find it on Lexicanum. I had to go and open the fucking codex to find the name to write that section in the next video. Because not even Lexicanum is aware she existed. Because she died in the first fucking engagement in an appendix.
Because with this new Terminus decree, it contradicts everything that's been established, and it's bolstered by having no...
What do you mean? There is no canon. What has been established? There exists no canon. Nothing has been established.
Why are you saying bad stuff about it?
Yeah, why are you complaining?
who-
There is no canon. Why are you complaining, Luetin? It is your words.
But no, forget all that, because now it states that despite his efforts to return, he is now instead being continually dragged back into the warp, basically the total opposite of what was happening before, somehow. The Grey Knights are basically now just sick and tired of him as well. He's coming and going all the time. Oh yeah, Grey goes off on another warp holiday. And now, because of his continually...
He's sick and tired. He's fucking killing armies of demons by himself. They are tired of it.
Yeah, I doubt they are tired of literally a Grandmaster that can stay in the warp for literal centuries and not get fucking corrupted. In there, he's pretty much being the... Caldor Drago is literally the Doom guy of 40k. I doubt they are sick and tired.
But just putting how we deliver elements of lore aside, the question we've been left to discuss and answer is, should we place any weight in these new revelations regarding the Terminus decree? So,
should we ignore the retcon? Let me translate the question. Should we ignore the retcon? There is no canon, but should we ignore the retcon, guys?
why they decided to add this definition of the Terminus when we already had one which was well established. This new description really doesn't make sense however you cut it, and the entire situation is quite frustrating. I can make guesses, rationalizations, but I ultimately couldn't tell you why this felt to be necessary. It's just as I said in relation to the Custodes, it feels like a neck-breaking U-turn. It's very jarring. It's like someone's literally just slammed the brakes on, changed gear, but whiplash.
It's a retcon. It's the definition of a retcon. Something that makes no sense, but it happens all the same.
He forgot what a retcon is.
Yeah, if it is new info that was never there and it is actually fucking wrong, conflicting with the canon, it is a retcon.
So fast forwarding to a Terminus decree being spoken of as a sealed ultimate sanction locked in stasis on Titan, come on, it would be literally insane if this was not the resolution. And for anybody who wants to roll out the standard suggestion of, well, I guess this new law, it was written in by somebody who just didn't know about that, or they got the intern to write it. No, that's not how it works at all. Anything like this will have been checked and triple checked, so this new Terminus...
All of this would have been checked and triple checked. They don't even the first time check anything that they write by this point. Just look at the lore of fucking female custodians. The more you read, the more it gets.
And this means that some are able to survive in the warp and therefore return to material space. and I could go on and on about that. But I think, vague as it is, that's basically sufficient to understand. And there may also be other factors, like, for example, faith. When we think about figures, such as Celestine, it may be that even if you are human, if you have enough faith, it kind of protects and empowers, shields your soul once
But Celestine is not human. Saint Celestine doesn't have a human host. It is partially made of material, we could say, but every time she dies, she has to climb a mountain of her own bodies just to prove she's worthy to be reborn again. Like, when the pylons went off on Cadia, the majority of the warp creatures dissipated, including the Legion of the Damned that was fighting on Cadia, but over, like, all of her warp abilities were gone as well as the ones of Abaddon were gone. But Celestine technically is not human in the real sense. It is more of a product of the warp than anything. It doesn't have a human host. It is always Celestine. It is not Saint Sabbath that takes possession of woman to be reborn.
Also, like, for example, in Dark Imperium, in Plague War, we see him burn the Garden of Nurgle in the warp, which that's not something...
Poor
Oh, come on!
Poor Nurgle. Nurgle is catching strays all of this video.
But for fucking real.
Instead, it's the part where it says, "For it is neither a weapon nor a magic formula." That is unashamedly a pointed knife twist at the revelations about Basilio Foe, which is either a deliberate undermining of established lore or an attempt to wink at the reader and tell us, hey, this description of the Terminus is not the one you're looking for, wink wink.
Yeah, but why the fuck do that? Like, why the fuck spend so many books establishing something just to go, oh yeah, actually it isn't what we wanted to establish. The truth is actually in the fucking codex. Why? Why would anybody ever think to do? Why waste so much effort in creating a narrative that works if you then just go, no, actually, just kidding. It is just the Emperor must stay on the throne.
Hey, you were thinking about this, that it was actually cool. Well, no, fuck off.
Aha, you
Here's
idiot. You read 7 books for it? Just read our explanation.
Now, if we're talking about this more seriously as a concept, well, then you've got to ask the question, could the Grey Knights actually do it? Could they actually take the Emperor?
That's really easy to respond.
No, there is no way they are reaching the palace alive, let alone the planet. Like,
which is something I always take time to mention, but then I just get called a heretic. Now, in Foe's mind, it was the Emperor's arrogance that would see Terra subjugated. Foe had been branded a criminal for the deaths caused by his creations, whatever, which is
so we have to listen to literally the opinion of a convicted criminal put to death for his crimes, and we have to trust him on the opinion of the Emperor's arrogance.
But we can't trust the codexes.
We cannot trust the codex, but we can trust Basilio Foe.
Ordinarily, when you have such a long, established, decades-long novel series like the Heresy, and then just throw in some wild, offhand lore spice in a tabletop rulebook, it can just be dismissed as the lucid imaginings of an Adeptus Terra scribe.
No, because it isn't an in-universe book! How hard is it to understand that nobody will know what the fuck is written on the Terminus decree? You cannot simply go, oh yeah, it might be the unreliable narrator. Nobody, alive or dead, in the Imperium of Men knows what the fuck is written on the Terminus decree.
Nobody knows it exists.
Not
even the Supreme Grand Master knows what...
Nobody knows it exists, but in this case, Kaldor Drago. But Kaldor Drago doesn't know what's written in it. So who the fuck knows what is written inside this stuff and is writing it on a codex?
Please be out there, because once you put something in writing in 40k, it is there. And as you know, despite people claiming that things get retconned, I'll say it, they never really are. They're just...
They never really are. You just explained for a 1 hour and 12 minutes video that this new thing literally deletes decades of novels and the build-up of Basilio Foe, the story of the virus, all of this for the Terminus decree with a new story that doesn't make any fucking sense. You literally described a fucking retcon without calling it a retcon, and now you are saying that there is no retcon in 40k? Luetin, make peace with your fucking brain.
Grey Knight's Codex, and you're like, huh, I wonder what's in there. Then you saw the Terminus degree. You probably just left it around.
Terminus degree.
Yeah, am I the only one that heard that? The Terminus degree?
Room temperature degree.
The room temperature degree.
It is absolutely perfect. Because, ladies and gentlemen,
This guy is rage baiting. There is no fucking way.
There is no way that anybody will say the new Terminus decree is completely and utterly fucking perfect. I am sure we are going to hear another 38 minutes of dumb fucking lore that doesn't make sense or doesn't exist. Like, we are in for a worse fucking they're all pariahs video.
the Terminus decree details the Emperor's final command to the Grey Knights chapter.
I hate that it is a wooden box, though. Like, I can understand that maybe wood is very rare on the fucking desert moon of Titan, but there isn't anything more secure than a fucking wooden box.
Since a lot of people don't really know what they're about. But I decided to do some digging into this because I thought this was just a load of rubbish. But when I read that codex and when I got into the meat of it, it started to make a terrible amount of sense. Because
I wonder
Please
why,
explain it to me.
But I fear the answer.
turns out the Grey Knights are way more powerful than we thought they were, but that's not the main thing.
No.
They are way more powerful than we thought they were.
Then the Space Wolves are stronger than fucking Custodians.
Yeah, Space Wolves going around just pummeling them to the ground, one-shotting a Grey Knight Grandmaster before he can even get his weapons out, killing tactically some of their sergeants so that to pretty much mine the psychic stability of all the Grey Knights on the ship and pretty much being able to teleport away, almost as if they knew that the sergeants, the Justicars, were keeping the powers of their own squads in check. Yeah, I wouldn't say they are more powerful than that.
And the Space Wolves just tanking hits from them like it's nothing.
And we're going to start off with one that a lot of people like to meme on, but again, sleep on terribly. That being the Baby Carrier, aka the Nemesis Dread Knight.
This weapon is shit. Like this entire thing is shit, to the point that it is only used when Grey Knights need to fight against greater demons. There is a reason if they don't all use it. It is used to kill big stuff. You are a giant target in this thing. It is why everyone jokes about it, because you are literally suspended in the chest of a giant robot. They will know where to fucking shoot.
If we put Caldor Drago in a Dread Knight, he could conquer Terra by himself.
Wait, no, listen. What if we put Caldor Drago in a Dread Knight, and then we put that Dread Knight into a bigger Dread Knight?
For those of you who weren't paying attention, yeah, this shit uses sorceress stuff, aka chaos shit.
No, nowhere it said that. Nowhere it said that it could be of the sign of the Dark Mechanicum, but it doesn't use magic to work. Like, all the magic it is using is the psychic power of the Grey Knights that is on it, because it is using force weapons. But Nemesis weapons, but yeah.
He needed all of that and just went, that's complete magic.
Yeah.
No, can we appreciate 10 minutes of reading the script, the written words, and they just go like, oh, do you like get that shit? It's like chaos shit.
Is sorceress stuff, aka chaos shit. As we'll get onto later, the Grey Knights just have a bunch of fucking demons and chaos corrupted motherfuckers chucked in their hole. They just keep...
No.
What?
That's not what it said.
What?
At best it was implying that Dark Mechanicum practices and creators were used, but Techno-heresy is literally everything produced that does not come from a database directly from Mars. You could make a fucking las gun out of scraps and that would be technically Techno-heresy. You will be a Techno-sorcerer. Like, Jesus Christ. The misconception with this guy is in every video.
So, that was a lot, I know and I'm aware, but when looking at this exoscript, I thought about what to cut and I just really didn't feel comfortable.
What? Are you 5?
I have sent it to the chat.
They want to kill the Emperor, steals bones from Nose, steal aspirants from other chapters, beat up saints to extract tears, bargain human souls with demons. And who is this? Chaos? No, the Grey Knights.
Remember, gentlemen, what Danny has just said for the past minutes is it doesn't matter how big your Terminator armor is, it depends everything on how you use it.
That makes me feel better about myself.
Exactly.
This is making me harder than Terminator armor.
Diabolical number But even their standard weapons are absolutely devastating. Magically infused stormbolters and magic flamethrowers? I'm sorry.
Extremely effective against demons. That magic doesn't apply to literally anybody else. If you're fighting other psychers, good luck. Yeah, but oh yeah, this stuff is incredible. The problem is that they are useless against human enemies, because in the end they are not. The Custodians are not psychers.
This is not something new, and that should scare the hell out of you. Okay, but enough. I know a lot.
Oh my, this should scare the hell out of me. Pio, be scared for me.
Uh.
The Warhammer 40k 10th edition Codex Grey Knights was written by James One Wing Grover and Mike Pestilence. I have not heard of these guys ever in my life. Who the fuck are they? I don't trust it.
The first thing, when I look at the name, the first thing that happened was a website called Goonhammer.
Goonhammer?
They're gonna be the top tier, most deadliest psychics of all time. I.e., they're gonna give Ahriman a fucking run for his motherfucking money.
Ahriman is not that powerful of a psyker. Let's begin from that. He's a librarian psyker, but okay.
That's what that means. Also, the fact that they're blanks means that they're gonna have an edge over pretty much every other blank and other.
What the? He's still fucking convinced that you can be a psyker and a blank at the same fucking time! What is it with this guy?
But we don't really know much about those two, so that's all I'm going to talk about them. What we do know a lot about, however, is the Psi-Titans. The Psi-Titan is something—
We don't know shit about the Psi-Titans. We know very little, if nothing, about the Psi-Titan. We know how they work tangentially, but we don't know anything else.
Wait, so he's saying we don't know anything about the Grey Knights, we don't know anything about the Ordo Sinister at the same way, but we know a lot about the Psi-Titans?
Yeah, pretty much. These guys we don't know shit about.
Your compliance is necessary, said Cuddy, and the absence of circulation of thoughts and emotions still in his mind, blood on his teeth, felt the breathing fire of his engine, the guard machine trying to turn its sensory gaze away from the violation. The air around the wound rippled, fuel flushed into the repair of Mortar's engine, clouds spread across his shoulders as the bullet across the atmosphere and box. Orientalis a chuckle of dying stars and radiation the first and the air around the ship, turning to pass the vortex. Weapons failing to fire. Orientalis black hunger kept open between striding directly forward, from the shields as the bullet hole flashed reality. The Psi-Titan warp energy and collapsing matter whirled as Echion stepped into the black abyss of the vortex. The ragged edge of the hole flared for an instant. Ghost lightning arced through the air. Reality howled, and then the vortex drained the Psi-Titan.
Can we fucking skip to the important parts? We don't need to read 27 pages on the Psi-Titans.
Just look at the bar and fast forward until these two are no more.
Jesus fucking Christ! There is another 2 minutes. No, let's just let them. Let's just let him go. And
3 more minutes of this.
Honestly, I don't care what the fuck he says. There's nothing in this entire fucking universe that can convince me that 20 Psi-Titans at most could conquer Terra.
I feel like I was doing a pretty good job lifting the testosterone in the Warhammer community, but
okay, it's been 11 minutes. 11 seconds.
11 fucking seconds, and the guy's already without his shirt. Can we get one video, Majorkill, where he's not fucking shirtless? This is getting fucking tiring.
Guaranteed. Let's get into it. The God Emperor of Mankind is good at a lot of things. He's also quite terrible at a few other things, but that's not the topic of this video.
I hate the argument that the Emperor was a very shitty dad. The Emperor wasn't a dad to begin with. You can say thanks to Erda for that. When the Emperor encountered all the Primarchs, they were already adult men that had already formed their own opinions, their own ideologies, their own doctrines, everything else. The Emperor didn't get the chance to be a father. The Emperor already found his sons as adults. Technically, he was still an asshole in some cases, but the fact they turned out the way they did is not his fault. It's Erda's fault.
They also pump a bunch of the Emperor's blood into them as well, which is pretty neat.
No.
We don't know. there is no mention about it anywhere.
They pump the Emperor's blood into the Custodians? Jesus Christ, how much blood did they take to make the 10,000? Was the Emperor just storing a blood bank during the entirety of the Dark Age of technology, just preparing to pump these guys filled with his own blood?
They don't approach with stealth or formations, no, they literally just beam right on top of the enemy forces like they're Asgardians or some shit, and they begin massacring everyone around them in glorious melee combat.
No.
What was that?
Removing that he probably had an ictus while doing the narration, but left it in. But no, they have jet bikes, they have grav tanks, they have flying rhinos. Like, what? They love melee combat. They love so much melee combat that they have ranged weapons attached to their melee weapons.
After defeating a really random Cornet invasion of Terra after the fall of
A very random Cornet invasion on Terra. Really? The Battle of Lionsgate, a very random Cornish invasion of Terra. They lost...
It was a normal invasion.
They lost 2,000 Custodians in this battle. The very random battle where the Custodes lost 20% of their forces.
While they aren't unkillable, the Custodes are beasts, and the latest Games Workshop novels about them are a joy to read. It seems like Games Workshop has really reined in its shit writing recently, so hopefully our golden boys don't get done dirty. When I hit 100k subs, I'll...
Well,
Unfortunately... Unfortunately.
Well, this aged like fucking milk. Oh my god, he made every... Oh, God! What is it with Majorkill surprising us with naked parts? I can't even click on the fucking video! I just over it!
Okay, 0 seconds. Naked Majorkill.
I over it!
The first Custodian unit type on this list is the basic Banana Boys, the Custodian Guard. Don't mistake me calling them basic as an insult. This chick looks pretty basic, but I would slam her until my dick ruptured, causing myself fatal levels of hemorrhaging.
Okay, thank you, Majorkill.
Thank you for telling me that. I will be sure to write it down. Will it be on the test?
This is what happened with Valerion. He tried to do the test to become a companion, and the Emperor full cyclically kicked him in the balls and caused him to fail.
Valerion? This guy's
Valerian.
Valerian. It is not Balarion from Game of Thrones. Valerian.
As I said, the Latin is not the problem. The problem is that he's seeing letters that doesn't exist.
Yeah, like
in that name.
And to be honest, I'm getting pretty much annoyed with all these Custodes characters because there is too many names sounding the same. So the old Captain General was Valdor. The new Captain General is Valoris. This guy is Valerian. It is getting problematic to distinguish them.
The next cluster of blessed boys on this list is Vetriliux Praetors, who are
How the fuck did you call them? This is a personal insult.
is Vetriliux Praetors. Next cluster of blessed boys on this list is Vetriliux Praetors.
Pio, just to do a test, just to make people understand how stupid this mispronunciation is. Hear what he says.
The next cluster of blessed boys on this list is Vetriliux Praetors.
Vetriliux Praetors. Pio, read his name.
He's talking about this.
Sì, yeah. The Vexilius Praetors. Vetriliux Praetors, Vexilius Praetor.
Heavier firepower. The armor is so in tune with its wearer that its functions and weaponry activate according to the wearer's thoughts. Like they don't have to flex or press buttons and shit. They just need to think, it's raping time. And bada bing.
At this point, the comedy of Majorkill is pretty much like radiation. You can only survive so much of it.
Now you might be thinking, Custodes are fucking sick. No shit. But how are they able to handle enemies like the Tower of the Elder, who have a lot of long-range weaponry? And it's a valid point. Except it fucking isn't. A, because Custodes don't really fight Tower and Elder. B, they can just charge the fuckers. And C, the Sagittarium Guard are a thing. These Custodes...
What?
Guard are a thing. These
The Sagittarium.
The Sagittarium Guard are a thing. Don't really fight Tau and Elder. B, they can just charge the fuckers. And C, the Sagittarium Guard are a thing.
Sagittarium Guard. Sagittarium Guard. Oh, sorry, Sagittarium Guard. Okay, Sagittarium.
Why the Dready doesn't bother you? It's like the age of A-pop.
Yeah, I mean, don't you like the age of A-pop, Pio? The Dreadies were a lot
No,
harder.
the Dready. The Achillus Dready.
The Achillus Dready. Sounds like an Eastern European like market for cars. The Achillus Dready.
Custodes go even harder with their dreadnoughts though. They have the Telemon Heavy Dreadnought.
Telemon Heavy Dreadnought. The Telemon. There is no I anywhere in that name. Telemon Heavy Dreadnought.
There's not many things in the galaxy that could 1v1 a Primarch, and I'm not saying a Telemon would do it.
The Custodes.
The Custodes. The
All
Custodes.
connected. Not even.
If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place.
And obviously the poor shilling. Thank you, Majorkill. Obviously the poor shilling couldn't be missed. The more I rewatch these videos, the more I relive the rage that brought us to make the YouTubers video. That, by the way, was in production already after episode 16. As usual, thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and check out our serious lore videos. And if you want to watch the full episodes of Lore Destroyers, once again, join our Patreon, our Subscribe Star or our Ko-Fi. Lots of lore to learn and lots of wrong videos to correct. We also hope to see you in our chat on Twitch. If you want to see serious lore experts play Warhammer 40k games, you know where to find us. You might even end up playing with us. See you for the next lore video, which is Vrax 2. For the people scared that the series will not continue, it is coming, have some patience.